Well, in the land of fruit and nuts, there is a judge who has some sense and an understanding of America's religious heritage. A federal judge in California has handed down a scathing ruling against a school that required one of its teachers to remove signs celebrating the role of God in American history from his classroom walls. This is a report by Drew Zahn in WorldNet Daily. This occurred in 2007. This particular teacher had a number of sayings up on his classroom wall, and he was unmolested in this for 17 years, and the principal, I don't know if he's a new principal or not, wanted to make a case of this and told him to take these signs down. Now, what's interesting about this is that what the teacher had up on his wall were kind of official acknowledgments of America's Christian history, official governmental acknowledgments of America's religious history. In God We Trust, of course, which is on our coinage. One Nation Under God is in various displays in our America's Capitol. One prominent one is in the U.S. House of Representatives. God Bless America, which is a song that is in fact sung to embrace America's Christian heritage. God Shed His Grace on Thee, another based upon another American hymn, if you will. And so the things that he put up in his classroom were things that were in our history's heritage, as well as the Declaration of Independence. Another sign he had up calls all men are created equal out of the Declaration of Independence. They are endowed by their Creator, again out of the Declaration of Independence. And so here we have in a school system that extols the virtues of diversity, actually eliminating anything related to diversity. In fact, the argument of the Thomas More Center, who defended this teacher, said that the school allowed every other religion in there, Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu, etc., but particularly went after this individual because of the Christian nature of his displays. So Johnson filed a lawsuit alleging the order a violation of his constitutional rights, and the teacher has now been rewarded with a court victory and a powerfully worded ruling. Now listen to this. This was U.S. District Court Judge Roger T. Benitez. He says, may a school district censor a high school teacher's expression because it refers to Judeo-Christian views, while allowing other teachers to express views on a number of controversial subjects, including religion and anti-religion? On undisputed evidence, this court holds that it may not. He continued, that God places prominently in our nation's history does not create an Establishment Clause violation requiring a disenfranchise for Johnson's public high school classroom walls. It is a matter of historical fact that our institutions and government actors have in the past and present times given place to a Supreme Court. Citing the Constitution, the First Amendment of the Constitution, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Just by acknowledging America's Christian heritage, or just our religious heritage in general, the ACLU and Americans United for Separation of Separation of Church and State, and this particular school probably fearing some sort of lawsuit by the ACLU, although nothing had happened in 17 years, using the argument, well, this is an establishment of religion. How can it be an establishment of religion to just acknowledge what America was founded on by just bringing out the historical documents? I mean, this is a school. This is where young people are to learn these things. To hide these things isn't educational at all. To deny these things isn't in the spirit of diversity. And to remove them from the classroom doesn't disestablish the forces of history. So this is a tremendous ruling, although I still don't accept the premise that we ought to be sending our kids to public schools, but at least this judge has some sense. The judge further reprimanded the school, stating that while teachers at the district encourage students to celebrate diversity and value thinking for oneself, they apparently fear their students are incapable of dealing with diverse viewpoints that includes God's place in American history and culture. The older of Johnson's two signs, which had hung on his wall without complaint for 25 years, measured 7 feet by 2 feet and contained the words, "In God we trust, one nation under God, God bless America, and God shed his grace on thee." The second banner, as I mentioned, comes from the Declaration of Independence. All men are created equal. They are endowed by their Creator. And so, though the district permits other teachers to hang Buddhist, Islamic, and Tibetan prayer messages on their classroom walls, Johnson was nonetheless told to take his banners down. I mean, this is just inconceivable. Especially in the Islamic side of things, here you have Islamic extremists around the world who want to destroy our system of government and don't want to have anything to do with Christianity. I mean, they burn churches, they persecute Christians, they kill Christians, and then we're tolerating this particular religion in our classrooms and disavowing Christianity, the very religion that served as the foundation for America. Richard Thompson, President and Chief Counsel for the Thomas More Law Center, said they dedicated to the defense of religious freedoms, commented on the case. He said, "Many school officials exhibit hostility towards our nation's Christian heritage, yet these same officials see no problem in actively promoting atheism or other religions under the guise of cultural diversity and tolerance." Hopefully, Judge Benitez's decision will help put an end to this double standard. It is the responsibility of our public schools to educate students on the crucial role Christianity played in our nation's founding. And so fostering diversity, Benitez ruled, does not mean bleaching out historical religious expression or mainstream morality. By squelching only Johnson's patriotic and religious classroom banners, while permitting other diverse religious and anti-religious classroom displays, the school district does a disservice to the students of Westview High School, and the federal and state constitutions do not permit this one-sided censorship. Now, this is true censorship. When the government prohibits the wording of something, or when the government hides something and keeps something out from people, then that is censorship. And this is a blatant violation of the First Amendment, not only in the issue of religion, but also in the issue of free speech and freedom of the press. So in response to the school district's claim that Johnson's patriotic banners might make a Muslim student, for example, uncomfortable, Judge Benitez stated, "An imaginary Islamic student is not entitled to a heckler's veto on a teacher's passive, popular or unpopular expression about God's place in the history of the United States." The ruling prompted Robert Mewes, the Law Center's senior trial counselor handling the case, to comment, "It was refreshing to read an opinion that does justice to our nation's history rather than rewrite it." Amen to that. One can disagree with all types of things, but man, lay it all out on the table. This is the same thing that I say about regarding creation evolution. What are you afraid of, evolutionists? Is your system so fragile, its foundation so weakened that you will not allow a debate within the classroom on the basics of the evolutionary system? ACLU and Americans United, what are you afraid of? I'm willing to present both sides of the case. We debate this all the time in the public arena. Why not make it available to young people in the classroom? Let the students make the case one way or the other about America's religious foundation. Put them to the test. Get these kids to think. It might relieve some of the boredom that's in the classroom, some of the nonsense that they're getting. We're turning out young people today who are uneducated. They're not stupid. They are ignorant of what is going on, what is the history of our nation. They can't think straight. They can't think in a linear way and keep one thought after another. So it's time that we find good judges like this Judge Benitez, and maybe we can turn this nation around. If there's hope for California, there might be hope for the rest of America.
For more related to today's topic, check out The Deluded Atheist, a response to Richard Dawkins' The God Delusion. You will find it at AmericanVision.com.